If you can get powder to work, oh my gosh, you will be a pro at creams, believe me. Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Carmel, and in today's video, we are going to be going back to some makeup basics. So whether you are just getting into makeup, getting back into makeup, or whether you are just feeling a little overwhelmed by makeup in general, today we are just going to be stripping things back and creating a really easy, everyday, natural makeup look. And we're only going to be using affordable makeup products because if there's one thing that you can take from my videos is that you do not need to be spending a fortune on makeup for it to be good. So if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, then please do keep on watching. So before I do absolutely anything on my face, before I put skincare on or anything else, I always do my eyebrows first. And there's one main reason for this. If you get skincare, if you get other bits of makeup into your eyebrows, your eyebrow product will not work properly. I always choose an eyebrow pen. As you can see, I do not have full brows at all. I plucked them all out, as many of us did in the 90s. That's okay. We can fake the eyebrow hairs. I know that people get really, really intimidated by eyebrow pens, but honestly, if you can pick up a really unintimidating, I'm not sure if that's the word. There are eyebrow pens that are really, really soft and not scary at all. Now, if you still don't feel like you want to use an eyebrow pen, there are some great eyebrow pencils that are really, really sharp. This one is the L'Oreal Infallible Brows 24-hour micro brow pencil. I would say to you, if you are just getting back into makeup, don't concentrate on your eyebrows being totally symmetrical, okay? That's probably never going to happen. I would say to you, just focus on the parts that you definitely need a little bit of filling in. So for me, it's everywhere. So I'm taking the Catrice Microblade Brow Pen. This is the most soft eyebrow pen that I own. It's got this little fine tip. This is in the shade Bold Espresso, and you can see there how fine the hair strokes are. They are not intimidating, they're not too dark, and I always start at the top of my eyebrows and work up, and I just do little hair strokes. Now obviously if you are using a brow pen, you can do the exact same thing. So with this tip on the L'Oreal, you can see that it's very fine there. Morphe do a really nice one. You can just do the same thing but with the pencil, and it will come out just as soft. But honestly, I just find that the eyebrow pens just leave you with much more natural looking eyebrows. And one trick is to just look at which way your eyebrows naturally grow and go in that direction. So this feels really alien to some people, to go on top of their eyebrows and go in a downwards direction, but that's the way that my eyebrow hairs naturally grow. And this is waterproof. It's not going to go anywhere. Your eyebrows are not going to smudge all down your face. A really good eyebrow wax or glue will really make the world of difference to your eyebrows. So a lot of us have either plucked all our eyebrows out or we are losing volume in our eyebrows as we get older. So something like this can be absolutely amazing. This is the Maybelline Super Lock Brow Glue. This is incredible. I've got so many brow glues that I absolutely love. There's one from Essence that I adore, but I know it's not widely available. So that's why we're going to go in with the Maybelline Super Lock. And also this comes in different colors. I have it in clear. And the reason that I go for a glue or a waxy type formula instead of a gel is because this type of formula will literally find every single teeny tiny hair that you have and will give the illusion of fuller looking eyebrows. I always notice the difference when I use a gel as opposed to a waxy type formula. Honestly, one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give you is to dye your eyebrows. Keep on top of it. Every time I dye them at home, I end up seeing hairs that I've never seen before. So I would say keep on top of the color on your eyebrows. You will be surprised at how many eyebrows you actually have. Trust me. So once the eyebrows are done, then it's time to move on to the face, and skin prep is absolutely the most important thing that you are going to do in your whole makeup routine. So here's what we're going to do today. It's what I do every single day. So first of all, I go in with a Milky toner. This is my absolute favorite. This is from Byoma. This is the Hydrating Milky Toner. This is such an amazing product to use underneath your makeup. Believe me, it is very lightweight and the skin will absorb it in seconds. And I know that some people think that they need to skip doing skin prep because they have oilier skin, but believe me, whether you have dry skin, oily skin, combo skin, whatever it is, your skin needs hydration. This is going to give your skin a really nice base level of hydration, which is going to help to keep your skin hydrated throughout the day. But I need to lock in the toner, so I'm going to use this really light lotiony type moisturizer. This is the Embryolisse Lait-Crème Concentrate. It's just a holy grail to me, it is. And it's so lightweight that it literally gets absorbed into the skin immediately. So we are locking in that toner, because what we don't want is for our makeup to start getting dry. Don't want our makeup to start separating. Even if you have oily skin, you can still have dehydrated oily skin. Like, that is still a thing. Lots of things affect our skin, from the environment to the things that we consume, all sorts of factors. You don't need to be focusing on which primer to use at this stage at the beginning. You need to figure out your skin first. The under eyes are so important, and we need to focus on using a lightweight skin prep product underneath our eyes. Going in with this is the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Eye Cream. This is almost serum-like, and it literally penetrates the skin so fast, so quickly, and it's such a great base for our concealer. It's not going to overwhelm our under or over eyes. Over eyes, what are they? It's not going to interfere with our concealer. It's just going to give us hydration, and it's going to plump out those under eye lines that we all have. The last step in your skincare routine before you put on your makeup should always be SPF. Always. This is the Beauty of Joseon Relief Sun Rice and Probiotics SPF 50, and you need to be putting quite a bit of this on. I wear SPF whether it's raining, which it is most days in Ireland, whether it's raining, whether it's sunny, whether it's cloudy, I am wearing SPF. If you want to care for your skin, if you want to avoid lines and wrinkles, but obviously the main reason is that we don't damage our skin and end up with skin cancer, because my mum has suffered with skin cancer for years, and I've seen the damage that it's done. And look at my head. Can you see the hyperpigmentation? That is caused by the sun. And I don't even go out in the sun. But one year I went on holiday and it appeared, and I have been literally so overly diligent since then. Everything needs a little bit of time now to just soak into the skin. So for this routine, we are going to be predominantly using creams, because I genuinely will stand by the fact that I think they are so much easier to work with than powders. Powders for me is definitely something that you would step up to once you are feeling a little bit more confident. Creams can blend themselves, and the ones that I've chosen for today definitely do. So we are going to be going in with one of these pot shadows from Revlon. These are so iconic because they are so good. I'm going in with my favorite shade, and this is the shade Caramel. They come in either a matte or a shimmery finish. I would describe this as more of a satin leaning metallic. With this shade Caramel, it's just such an iconic shade in this range. It's so everyday. It's just beautiful. The great thing about these is you don't need to do anything to your eyelids first, so you can just go straight in on the lid. So I'll show you with a finger, but I'll show you with a brush as well. So I'm just going to dip in. Now, it's a little bit trickier when you've got nails. I've pressed into it and I'm just tapping it on my eyelid. These are so easy. This would be literally 1 minute eyeshadow, and no matter what's your eye shape, take that colour and just blend in an upwards motion towards your brow bone. Now, I have deep set eyes, meaning that my brow bone protrudes. In order to see the eyeshadow, I need to bring it up to my brow bone. You can take a brush as well. This is a Real Techniques base shadow brush, and it's perfect. This literally takes no work. I'm actually making more work out of this than it needs to be, but I'm just trying to show you different ways of applying it. Again, they are waterproof, budge proof, you know, they're not going anywhere. And if you feel like it, you can bring it underneath the lash line as well. If you don't have a brush that goes under the lash line, just pinch the brush together and just go under like that. I'm pretty sure I saw Ali Glines do that once, who gave me the idea for it. And it's just a genius tip. If you want to intensify any type of shade, you could take some on your finger or a brush and you could spray it with a spray. So this is just a fixing spray from number 7. I'm going to spray my finger. And I'm just going to go in over the top of that, and it will just intensify it a little bit. You could use any spray, any setting spray. It doesn't have to be number 7. It can be any spray. I actually forgot to mention with these that they come with a built-in eyeshadow brush, but I always forget. Look, they come with this, which is, it's great actually, isn't it? I just forget. I would always say to open up your eyes, then to curl your eyelashes. Any eyelash curler will do. However, if you don't want to curl your eyelashes, because I know it can be a little bit daunting for some people, take a spoolie, any spoolie. This is just the spoolie from my Morphe eyebrow product, and I'm going to brush my eyelashes up. That will help so much. And then you'll be ready to go without actually having to curl your lashes. For mascara, I know that it can be a little bit of a minefield. We're just going to be talking about a really good basic mascara, and it's actually a mascara that I tried recently, and as soon as I tried it, I thought, wow, that is going to be amazing for people who are not confident with mascara. And I just think it's the most easy, beautiful, natural looking mascara, and it's this one from Revlon. This is the Colorstay Full-Time Mascara. So it has a really beautifully sized brush, not too big, not too small, and it doesn't retain a lot of product either. So it's really easy to use and it never gets clumpy. So this isn't a waterproof, this is just a normal washable mascara, and it's really easy to remove. And so what I would advise you to do is to go in at the tips first. So just coat the tips of the lashes. So don't worry about the base yet. Go in at the very tips. And it will just give you so much length right off the bat. You see there, I've only done the tips of the lashes there. And this doesn't dry down super quick, so you've got time to work. Then once I've done the tips of the lashes, I'm going to go right in at the base, and I'm just going to wiggle it up all the way to the ends. This mascara is great because it literally will cling on to the lashes and it will stretch them for you. But because it's a really medium formula, so not too wet, not too dry, it doesn't clump at all. And I would say to you, if you are just experimenting with mascara, just do one coat. Okay, so just cover all the lashes and leave it there. And when you get a little bit more confident, you can start building up those layers. So we're not going for extreme length. We're not going for big, full, fat lashes. We're just going for something natural and everyday. I'm just going to match these eyes up and then we'll move on to the complexion. When it comes to concealer and foundation, I think it's really, really difficult when it comes to recommendations, because what I love, you might not love. Maybe because we have a different skin type, but maybe because we have different preferences. And also skin changes on a daily basis. 2 concealers, and I've really struggled with which one to recommend here. And they're actually both from the same brand, believe it or not. But I think they are perfect for beginners and also people who are not beginners, not just beginners. They are both from NYX, and here's my dilemma. This one is the NYX Bear With Me Serum Concealer, and this has been a holy grail to me for years now. However, they've just released a new concealer, and this is the Wonder Snatch Concealer. It's so good, but it comes with very little product. In this one, the NYX Bear With Me Serum Concealer, you get 9.6 mil, and this is utterly fabulous. It really, really is. I'm going to show you how I use this. So I literally pump out. I don't pump it right down to the bottom. So I put a little bit of a pump out. So this is the shade Beige. And as I said to you, I have really dry under eyes and I have problematic under eyes. So I'm going to be using a dual-ended Morphe brush for this. So this is the Morphe M100. It's got a concealer brush on one side and it's got a foundation brush on the other. So we're just going to be using this one brush. And I'm just going to go into this swatch here that's on my hand. Now, the key is to not over apply, but it's to apply it in the areas that we need it. So it looks like I need concealer everywhere, but I'm going to concentrate some just here in the inner corner where I have that under eye hollow. What I don't want to do is bring this concealer all the way up to my lash line. Why? Because I have so many lines and wrinkles there. So if I apply too much and then look in the mirror later and I see it all settling into my fine lines, I'm going to blame the concealer, but it's not, it's my application. So I am staying away from my lash line, and it feels so alien to some people to do that. And people say to me all the time, what do you do then? What do you put under your lash line? Well, nothing, nothing. It's not going to look strange. And generally I have eyeshadow under there anyway. So again, I'm just sticking to this swatch, tapping. We are not swiping our concealer or foundation. We're kind of pushing it into the skin. This concealer is absolutely beautiful. So it's very creamy, feels very hydrating. It's extremely flattering. But having said that, there will be people that hate this concealer. You know, one man's trash is another man's treasure, and different strokes for different folks. And that's what we need to remember when it comes to recommendations. I think just figuring out what type of coverage you think you need. And I'd say that this is a medium to full coverage concealer. Can you see how that is just beautifully erased that darkness? And I didn't apply a lot. And so if you just make sure that you apply a little bit on this outer corner, and if you blend upwards, it's going to give your eye a little bit of a lift as well. So we'll just do the other eye. And I always do my under eyes first, because once I've fixed my under eyes, I can see that the rest of my face doesn't actually need a whole load of coverage, but my eyes always throw me off because they're so dark. But once they're concealed, so much better. Now, if you don't want to invest in a concealer like this, you could actually just go in with an under eye brightener, something like this from Catrice. This is the Instant Awake Under Eye Brightener. This is the shade Light Rose. You could just tap a little bit where you might have a little bit of a hollow or a dip. Maybe go in with your concealer brush, and you could just use a little bit of a brightener. You don't have to use a concealer at all. The complexion can be an absolute minefield because some of us don't know what skin type we are. We don't really know what our preference is. So for today, I am sticking to a natural complexion. So nothing too dewy and nothing too matte either. We're going to be using this from Milani. This is the Conceal and Perfect Blur Out Skin Tint Stick. So this is in the shade 4. I would say that this is a light to maybe light medium skin tint. And I love it because it allows me to customize the coverage. Now I'm taking the other end of my dual-ended M100 Morphe brush, and I'm going to start pushing that into the skin. So you can build up the coverage with this, or you can keep it really natural. You could just go in, maybe on the nose, on the forehead, just a tiny little bit, and be done with it. But you can build it up if you want. Obviously, it depends on what your preferences are, but it also depends how much coverage you actually need. But I think that this is so natural on the skin, and I feel like whatever your skin type, you could make this work. I think it's really, really beautiful. Now, again, I have really hydrated my skin. I feel confident that this won't stick to any dry patches. I think with any complexion product, if you don't hydrate your skin enough, then any product can stick to dry patches, and this won't be an exception to that. Just remember that when you are putting foundation on, that you do not put it underneath your eye. You do not need concealer and foundation under your eye. Under eyes, concealer, complexion, foundation, and then just blend them in together. Because if you're putting concealer on and then you're putting foundation on top of that concealer, you are going to get creasing. And I know I sound like a broken record, but a little bit of creasing under your eyes is completely normal. If you have fine lines there and you put product on them, it's going to sit into them a little bit. If it does, tap it out with your finger. It's really easy. As I said, we are stripping things back, and I know when it comes to contour, bronzer, blush, people get a little bit overwhelmed. We're not even talking about contour because we don't need it. I rarely use contour. I might use it if I'm feeling a little bit fancy, but other than that, I use a bronzer and a blush, and we are going to be using creams today. We're keeping it simple with one single product. This is the Physicians Formula Butter Glow and Go. Now, this is a holy grail to me anyway. I love this product. It's dual-ended. On one end, you've got a bronzer, and on one end, you've got a blush, and they are premium formulas. So this is the shade Sun-Kissed Rose. So for this, I'm going to be using another Morphe brush. This is the M240 Sculpt brush. So it's shaped really, really uniquely like this, but it's so great for the cheeks. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I've had so many people come to me and say, I just don't feel confident with creams. I can't get them to work. You can. If you can get powder to work, oh my gosh, you will be a pro at creams, believe me. Great thing about this bronzer is it can be applied directly to the face. One thing I'd say to you is maybe just warm up the product a little bit on the back of your hand. Creams always work better when they are warmed up a little bit. We're going to feel where our cheekbone is, and we're going to go above the cheekbone. We're not going to go down below because that's going to drag the face down. So high up. Don't worry about how much you apply with this because it's easy to sheer out. So there's the bronzer. We're going to take our brush and we're going to start pushing. So tapping the skin, that's all. Keep going back and forth. Look at how easy that is. So easy. So easy. Now, I would say that a lot of people bring bronzer up to their temples. You can do that. I'm not. Look at my temples. They are sunken in. So if I put a dark shade here, it's going to push my temples further back in. I need to keep this area lighter so that it brings it out a little bit more. Now I'm going to build up this bronzer because I want to. So I'm just tapping again. And that just gently warms up the skin. Can you see the difference there? So that's why I don't need contour, because it's given me a fake contour by using the bronzer. And because the bronzer isn't too warm, it's giving me that natural shadow. So I'm going to do the same over here, keeping it high. Look at how high I am. And again, we're just tapping, okay? We're not dragging. Nope, we're not sliding things round. We are pushing and tapping. All in real time. I'm not cutting anything out here at all. Going to build up again. There you go. Now, the only thing I will say about this bronzer and blush is that it does have fragrance. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. If you are sensitive to fragrance, if you don't like fragrance. On my forehead, I want to stay away from my personal hyperpigmentation. So I'm just going to go on either side where the sun would hit. And I'm just going to blend towards my hairline. Right back. Because what you don't want is a line between your forehead and your hair. No contour needed. We've brought a little bit of warmth back to the face, and just double check in your mirror that everything is blended in. If it's not blended in, just tap again. That's all you need to do. We are keeping things simple and we're going to use the exact same brush, but this time I'm going to take a microfiber cloth. I use these every single day in between makeup steps. If you don't want to use another brush, go in on the microfiber cloth and it will wipe off all of that makeup. Obviously, this isn't a replacement for washing your brushes. Wash your brushes. The blush I approach differently. I'm still going to warm it up on the back of my hand. I prefer to coat the bristles with the blush. And now I'm going to do the exact same thing, but I'm going to come up higher this time. Can you see how this brush just hugs your cheek? And I'm just going to follow the brush. And I'm just going to go back and forth. Tapping, not swiping. Now you can come as far forward on the cheeks as you wish. So you can just go in with a very sheer application, or you can work to build up the intensity of the blush. Now this does have some luminosity to it, but I just think it just looks so healthy on the skin. Just back and forth, tapping and blending. Just believe me when I say that creams are a great option if you have more mature skin, and also if you are a beginner, because let's say I feel like I've messed up my blush entirely right now. I can fix that so easily because I can go in with my foundation again over the top of it and it's not going to look dry or messy. they are really easy to save. Whereas to save a powder is almost impossible. It's almost impossible on the face because you would have to remove it and then go back in because otherwise it's going to get dry and cakey. This is not going to get dry and cakey. I know that online we get told not to bring the blush down to the apples of the cheeks, but for me, I just think it gives a really youthful appearance to the face. I like that it gives me a little bit of fullness to the center of my face because I feel like I've lost a lot of volume in my face as well. You put blush wherever you want to put it. We are not going to be using a highlighter today because I think as a beginner, it can be overwhelming to look at highlighters, so we are not going to bother. And also, I don't think that with this blush, I necessarily need one. So no contour, we're not going to be using highlight, and we're not going to be using a setting spray either. If there's one makeup product that I really do swear by, it's lip liner, because as I'm aging, you know, I'm going to be 44 soon, I genuinely can see the pigment disappearing from my lips, especially the definition of my lips. It's disappearing. Okay, so I need to try and fake a little bit of volume, and also I don't have any filler in my lips either. So I've got 2 lip liners that I want to recommend. Honestly, you do not need to spend a fortune on lip liners at all. 2 here that are amazing from Essence. These are the Pout Line Soft Glide Lip Pencils, €1. Yeah, that's what they're going to cost you. Not a lot. And I would literally pay 10 times that for one of these because they are so, so good. Obviously, these Maybelline lifter liners that I bang on about day and night. I love them. They are so pigmented, so creamy, but I think some people might find them overwhelmingly pigmented, maybe for a beginner. These are so good. The L'Oreal Blurring Contour Lip Liners. We're going to go in with this today simply because it's not a traditional type lip liner. It doesn't have a very sharp edge, okay? So I feel like it's really ideal for people who are starting out in makeup. People take pencils and they worry that they're not being precise enough. Whereas with this lip pencil, you are still going to get definition to the lips, but it's not going to need to be as sharp. This is the shade Nude Espresso. Kind of looks like my lips go up and then down because I'm losing the pigment, I'm losing the definition of my lips. So I'm going to go just below that, and I'm just going to follow where my natural lip line should be. And this is super creamy and blendable, and you can blend right into your lips. Now here, I always like to keep a Cupid's bow. I know some people like to overline. I don't really. I like to have definition. It's a complete personal preference, honestly. It's not a scary lip liner because it's creamy, it's movable, whereas with the Maybelline lifter liners, they tend to set down and they will stay there, whereas these are definitely more movable on the lips. You can actually fill your lips in with this and be on your way if you like more of a soft matte finish. I'm not really a matte lipstick lover. I mean, I do wear them, I do, but I don't gravitate towards them. I prefer a glossier lip. The main reason is because they're more comfortable for me, and the second reason is because they give the illusion of fuller lips. So the way that the light will reflect from a glossy lip product will give the illusion of fuller looking lips, and I need that. I bang on about these lipsticks all the time. These are the Revlon Glass Shine lipsticks. These are my oh, I love these so, so much, but I use them too much, don't I? I know I do. So today we're going to go in with this from Morphe. This is the Morphe Lip Lock, and this is in, I would say this is just the perfect shade for a beginner. This is the shade Court Rose, and it's a really pale dusty pink. Now the great thing about these is that they have this 2-tiered system. So you apply it, don't rub your lips together, let it set down, and after 2 minutes it will leave the colour on your lips, so it's kind of like a lip stain. And these are just beautiful and they feel absolutely gorgeous. And this shade honestly is just so perfect, and especially if you are wearing it with a lip liner. We are going to finish off the makeup with just a little bit of powder. Now I would honestly say to you, as somebody with drier skin and somebody who with maturing skin, I definitely prefer the look of my face when I don't have powder on. However, it doesn't mean that I'm opposed to it, because I'm absolutely not. There's always a time and a place for me with powder. And obviously I know that if you have more oily skin, you are going to want to set your face. I am going to use this powder today. This is the Catrice Bright and Blur Setting Powder. This is in the shade Soft Pink, and this is such a universally beautiful powder. It's extremely finely milled, and I think that it is really flattering on mature skin. Now, we don't need a lot of this. The first thing I'm going to do before I go in with any powder, I'm going in with my concealer brush from before, and I'm going to just pat underneath my eyes because inevitably some creases will have formed under my eyes. And you don't want to be putting powder onto creases because you're just going to set the creases in place. I'm going to take another Morphe brush. This is the M164 powder brush. And honestly, I can see some powder in the cap there. I'm going to start there and I'm just going to brush. So just that dusting of powder really lightly as I possibly can, is sufficient. When you have figured out what your skin type is, you can then play around with powder and see how things are sitting on your face. But until then, I would just go in really conservatively. The last thing that I like to do in my makeup is just to pop a little bit of a lighter shade in my inner corner, but I'm just picking up an eyeshadow palette. This is the Colourpop Going Coconuts palette, and you see this really bright shade here. I'm just going to pick up a Morphe brush. This is the Eye Detailer, the M383, and I'm just going to go into that shade, tap it off, and I'm just going to bring it just here. I feel like it just brightens up my eye a little bit. It's not a necessity. It just makes me look a little bit more awake because of my deep set eyes. So that is the final look with this back to basics makeup routine. I do hope that some of this video was helpful in some way, and I really hope that you can see that you do not need to be spending an absolute fortune on makeup for it to be good. So do let me know, do you use any of the same techniques as me, or do you use any of these products? I would love to hear all of your thoughts. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I so appreciate you being here with me. I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the next video. But until then, take care and bye for now.